sorry. So we'll start from a fact. We have 24.8 billion estimated damages that are investigated last year by the EU Prosecutor's Office related to identity-based financial crime. So this is a fact, this is very serious, and we have seen an increase lately in the identity-related frauds, financial crimes. So how is this related to onboarding, and why the first interaction that an institution or a regulated industry is very important to do it right? We have these statistics saying that annually more than 400 million digital onboarding events is happening in Europe. So all the numbers are related to European Union. And these digital onboarding events are related to banking, telecom, insurance, and other sectors. More than 60 million new banking accounts are opened every year, and more than 1 billion digital payments are initiated through digital onboarding platforms. So we have seen that we have different industries, different verticals, and all are subject to more or less the same regulatory requirements when it comes to identify the users and when it comes to onboarding new customers, be that financial institutions, insurance, healthcare providers, pharmacies, utilities providers, all are subject to so demanding regulatory requirements. And here, when the first interaction is happening with the customers, when they are trying to identify the users, that can be a door through which the bad actors can go inside and get access. Now let's think about Emma, who moves abroad and wants to open a bank account. What is the current situation? And I know that there are a lot of financial institutions that already try to make onboarding remotely, and they have different solutions today. Still, when it comes to foreign citizens, that is not working properly. And there are different reasons for that. So current reality, and I'm speaking from my personal experience when I moved back in 19 in Italy, and I had to open, is the very first thing you have to do when you move to a country, to open a bank account. Otherwise, you cannot have a renting contract, you cannot have utilities contracts, you cannot have anything without a banking account. So I'm speaking from my personal experience. You have to submit physical documents. You have to go physically to a branch, and someone will verify your identity based on your passport data. And they will request some proof of addresses and other paperwork. Then this needs a processing time. It's not happening, not even the same day or a couple of days. It took 2 weeks, right? So the processing is slow, is manual, and is very frustrating because in the meantime, you cannot do anything without that banking account. Then you have to submit other proofs if they realize that something is missing or they need additional verifications and asking to submit by email or by go physically again in the branch. So as you can see, is very frustrating. So there are real cross-border frictions, and the abandonment rate is high in these situations. There are document verification failures that are forcing manual reviews, even for those institutions or organizations that have implemented already remote onboarding processes. In case of failure of verification of foreign documents, that will trigger manual reviews. And last but not least, compliance risk and operational inefficiency. So this is not an isolated case. This is not related only to financial institutions. And processing the identity verification piece, the very first part of onboarding users into an organization, it took annually 1.7 million person months at EU level. The cost of successful onboarding over all these regulated industries is 9.2 billion annually. So this is an annual cost. These are real numbers. And last but not least, we have seen for the last year an increase of 56% reported on rising frauds in attempts in onboarding and account opening. So bad actors trying to get access to have an account open based on a fake identity. So what if everywhere in Europe the onboarding process across all providers of all sorts of services were simple as a one-click for logging in once? And we would like now to show you how that can be possible.
So during EWC large-scale pilot, we did quite a bit of work in segregation. We looked at onboarding from a KYC point of view. We also did payments, et cetera. So most of the learnings that we have done is based on the large-scale pilot we carried out during the pilot in EWC. So let me quickly give you a little bit of introduction to the demo environment itself. So we have what we call as the organization wallet suite that is operated by Intersea Group, which has a tenant instance that is instantiated towards a bank. In this case, it's the piggy bank portal. You can ignore all the logo on the top side. It just says that you can try it out yourself from iGrant.io landing page using any EUDI wallet or downloading our data wallet application. So on the left side, I have the data wallet application. So there are 3 essential credentials that is needed in order to onboard and get into a contractual agreement with a bank in this scenario. In the very first is the wallet unit attestation. I guess you're all familiar with it. This is the fundamental entity that actually proves the wallet provider is genuine. And then we have the PID. So in EWC, we had a PID issued here. I just have to restart.
There was the effect.
Yeah. So in EWC, we had the person identification data, or the PID, issued via a EWC issuer, which is present in the trust list, which we follow the EU trust list schema models. And you can see that it's a trust list that is put it on behalf of EWC, for example, over here. So from a user point of view, these things are essential credentials to onboard to any banking application. The user also have a qualified signing certificate, or QSAC, issued by Intersea Group. And you can also see more details about Intersea Group, for example. Again, Intersea Group is also present in the EWC trust list, which is, again, very much a replica of the EU trust list. So these are the 3 essential credentials that is required for onboarding. So let me start with the onboarding flow. Just to be on the safer side, I'll just refresh it. So there are 4 steps involved in onboarding. First is essentially proving who you are. That is a KYC. And then reviewing the consent as a second step. So many people asked us, why didn't you incorporate consent in the very first step? That is very much possible. The only reason why we did it this way is pretty much because of the banking requirement, where consent record has to be kept separately. And it is not really standardized how it would actually be working if we incorporate that whole thing into the wallet transaction itself. But we do have a solution for that. But let me start with the onboarding process. The user has been presented by the bank to present a PID. So if I may look at over here, in this case, the user is Emma. So it's essentially, we have configured it in such a way that the bank is requesting for the whole PID in this case. I confirm to exchange that PID data to the bank. The bank is receiving the information at the banking side, and the form is automatically filled with the data that has been presented from the PID. I, as Emma, consent to sharing the data to the bank. And so this entire KYC process has been done successfully in a few seconds, as you saw. And there's no manual intervention required, especially if you have a low or high PID going forward to the future. Even if you don't have a low or high, we can also use a qualified trust service provider issued photo ID, for example. In this case, the next step is essentially the signing. Again, the user is presented with the terms and conditions with the possibility to sign. So this signature QR code is configured with requesting the QSAC. So now there's a signature request coming from the bank, as you can see. And the wallet automatically picked the QSAC from the Interoperability group in this case. And I'm signing the transaction to the document. Herbert mentioned about the use of transaction data, where the PDF reference is embedded. That is pretty much what we did in this case. And in this case, we also used a long-term certificate. And the user is also able to download the document, the signed document. So if I use it with a PDF reader, you can see that it's signed and sealed by Emma in this case. And you can also see the signature pattern and see that it's all a legally valid signature that we are talking about here. And once the signing process is completed, the contract is signed, and the only thing that is required now is the bank to issue a bank authenticator, and that is pretty much what happened in that transaction. So I save that bank authenticator that has been issued to my wallet as Emma, and I can now, for example, log in and do any subsequent transaction using the EUDI wallet, using the bank authenticator that is issued to my EUDI wallet. So in this case, the bank is requesting the bank authenticator. I confirm to share the data, and you can enter now the portal and do any subsequent transaction in the bank portal. So what you see on the screen is like, once you log in, whatever happens is pretty much, you can carry out, for example, payments or any further transaction going forward. Over to you, Lal.
Thank you. So we have seen what can be possible. Let's see the differences. So current reality, Emma submits physical documents, ID copies, proof of addresses, and other paperwork using the European Digital Identity Wallet and electronic attestation of attributes. You have all trusted credentials in one place, the EUDI wallet. Replacing the slow processing, manual and frustrating and delays of paperwork to instant verification, quick onboarding, and last but not least, managing multiple paper documents across different channels would be replaced by a seamless and secure, user-friendly experience. So I think the differences are pretty clear. And what's next? As Lal mentioned, we have tested and worked together on this solution across LSPs, and we are pretty ready for the market. The solution is fulfilling the EUDI framework compliant and all the anti-money laundering, KYC, KYB requirements. The current stage is ready for implementation. Of course, we are aware that there are some gaps that we all are facing regarding the certification of the wallets. That should happen soon by the end of next year. But we both, iGrant and Intesi Group, are actively engaged with regulatory bodies to secure the necessary certifications of the end-to-end solution. As we already mentioned, Intesi Group is an Italian qualified trust service provider, so we know how to do compliance and how to secure the compliance of the future services. So, in a nutshell, the customer onboarding is really the gateway to a full digital experience that is not only about banking. It's about creating a secure, a trusted, a scalable ecosystem that is ready for certification and for a broad adoption. Lal, if you want to add anything, please. Yep. So we have integrated wallets, not only iGrant wallets, but the solution can work with any EUDI compliant wallet, multiple credentials that can be handled, and a unified experience. Now we are ready for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky and Lal. Any question for them? Yes, here. Hello. Yeah, wait a moment, you will receive a mic. You can also please introduce yourself quickly.
Yes. Hi, my name is Vangelis. I have a question for you. I have worked on the topic of offline proximity payments. From a study point of view, and I've done a little bit of research in the past months. I'm very interested to know if the process of onboarding can take place with the absence of internet connectivity, or if that's something that could happen in the future, if you see it feasible, and if there are any, technological barriers towards this direction.
Sorry, can you repeat it?
If the process of onboarding can happen without connectivity.
That's a very good question. There are ways to solve it, but it also depends on the level of assurance that need to be done in today's context. However, we do believe that from a banking point of view, it should be solvable. So it's more a question of, are we ready, and shall we look at the solution?
Very nice, thank you.
Thank you for the question. Any other question? Please raise the hand. No?
Who is ready to adopt the solution?
No? Okay, but then I think we can give them a big applause, and thank you very much for the good presentation.